Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really brilliant story out of Taiwan. It's about how a very traditional supermarket pulled off something amazing. It convinced its most tech-skeptical customers to jump headfirst into the digital world.
So let's set the stage with this huge statement from 2016. Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, basically declared that e-commerce, as we knew it, was ending. Now, coming from the guy who built one of the biggest e-commerce empires on the planet, that really turned some heads. He wasn't saying online shopping was going away, of course. He was saying it was about to become something much, much bigger.
And that something bigger is what he called new retail. So what is it? Well, it's all about blurring the lines between shopping on your phone and shopping in a real store. Think about it. You could order your groceries on an app for delivery, sure, but you could also buy something heavy, like a case of soda, while you're at the store and just have them send it to your house. It's all about making the entire experience completely seamless for you.
But for a store like PX Mart in Taiwan, this whole new retail vision felt like it was on another planet. I mean, they're a super popular, budget-friendly supermarket that reaches like 80% of the population. But their main customers, and they say this themselves, are moms and grandmas. A really loyal group, but one that was starting to get pulled away by these big online players.
So their biggest problem wasn't just, let's build an app. It was about changing deep-seated habits. In Taiwan, cash is still super common, and for good reason. They have these incredibly convenient systems for paying for transit or grabbing stuff at convenience stores already. So for a lot of people, the whole idea of mobile payments just felt, unnecessary.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. We all have this idea in our heads about who uses cash the most, right? We probably think it's the older generations, but the actual data, it tells a completely different story.
Okay, take a look at this. Yeah, people over 70 use cash a lot. But surprisingly, folks in their 20s are actually more likely to be cash-only than people in their 50s. In fact, that 50-plus group is the least likely to only use cash. Kind of blows up the stereotype, doesn't it?
And what this all points to is that the real barrier, it wasn't some fear of going cashless, not at all. A lot of older shoppers were totally fine using credit cards. The real problem was the hassle. The idea of downloading a new app, creating an account, linking a bank card, it just seemed like a huge, unnecessary pain.
So, how in the world did PX Mart solve this? Well, they didn't just launch an app and cross their fingers. No, they did something way smarter. They built this brilliant, step-by-step bridge to gently walk their customers from the world they knew into the digital one.
Let's walk through their 4-step playbook, because it's a masterclass in understanding people. And notice, it didn't start with a smartphone app. It started with something way more familiar, a simple, physical plastic card.
Okay, this part right here, this was the stroke of genius. It was so simple. When a customer paid with cash, the cashier would just ask, "Hey, want me to put your change on your card?" That's it. It took zero effort from the customer, and it immediately solved that universal problem of having your pockets or purse weighed down with a bunch of loose coins.
And the results of this one little idea? They were immediate and just explosive. After they ran a promo for the card, membership almost doubled in a single month. It shot up from about 313,000 to over 613,000. They had built the first part of their bridge, and people were running across it.
But that clever little card trick wasn't the whole story. Not even close. PX Mart knew that to get people from that physical card to a digital app, they needed their real secret weapon: people. They were not about to just leave their customers stranded trying to figure out an app all by themselves.
So they created something called the Mom's Helper Squad. They took their own staff, middle-aged women who their customers could actually relate to, and trained them to be super patient, friendly coaches. These helpers would spend, get this, an average of 20 minutes with one customer, walking them through every single step. They weren't just installing software. They were building trust one person at a time. And the payoff for this very human approach was, it was staggering. After the app launched in May, they didn't just get their card members to switch over. They exploded to an incredible 5 million users by the end of the year. And a huge chunk of that was just customers telling their friends how easy it was.
All right, so now PX Mart has millions of happy customers on their digital platform. They're comfortable, they're confident. Now it was finally time to unleash their true new retail vision. This is where all that hard work really started to pay off. They launched amazing features like bulk buy and collect. Okay, imagine this. You buy a case of 24 coffees to get a big discount. But instead of lugging that giant box home, it just gets stored as 24 digital tickets in your app.
Then, anytime you want a coffee, you just walk into any of their 1,000 stores and grab one. You can even send a few of those digital coffees to a friend as a gift. It's just brilliant.
And this really gets to the ultimate goal of the whole project. It was never just about payments. It was about data. For the very first time, PX Mart could actually see who was buying what. They could turn anonymous shoppers into actual individual customers, which meant they could stop guessing and start offering deals people actually wanted. So, when you boil it all down, the big lesson from this whole story is that their success wasn't just about technology. It was this perfect mix of a really smart digital plan and an even smarter, deeply human touch. They realized the real roadblock wasn't the tech itself. It was fear and hassle, and they solved it with patience and people.
And that kind of leaves us with the final big question to chew on. As our world gets more and more automated, the PX Mart story really makes you wonder. Maybe the most powerful, most important competitive advantage a company can have is the human touch.